beautiful people? We're your host. I'm Jessica.
What's up, boo-boos? I'm Brittany.
And welcome back to another week. We are mystifying
Reality.
reality. And before we get into this week's episode, we just wanted to give a little, not a disclaimer, but just check in on those that may have started the work on our last episode or your inner child. Want to see how it's going? Talk to us. Let us know. Reach out if you have questions, comments, concerns. You know where to
If
reach
you
us.
need
Okay?
assistance. Yeah.
Exactly. Make sure to watch Brittany's inner child workshop. That was fire. Okay? It's on YouTube. We linked it in our episode. Go watch it. Go like it. Go
Absolutely.
subscribe. Go love it. Live it. Want it. Thank you.
I'm not going to lie as well, you guys. They say it takes 21 days to transform a habit within the mind. So if you listen to that meditation for 21 days, you'll really start to see the shift and changes within your own belief system and your healing. So just want to let you guys know that.
Okay. I did also want to say, I know last episode the camera and my mic went off a couple times. It was on purpose. I am doggy sitting and the doggy gets needy and you guys don't need to hear that. So I just exclude myself for a bit and then I'm back. If it happens again, I am sorry. Deal with it. It's my show.
That's facts. I love it. Be real, boo.
Fuck it. That's the New Yorker in me. Gang. But
Facts.
with that being said, this week's beautiful episode, we will be talking about breaking generational curses. A moment of silence. Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun. Put it to rest. Let's get it.
Yep. We all think about it. We all hear about it. But do we
Facts.
all want
Know
to
about it? Yeah.
and know about it? No, I don't think so. So
Yeah.
you will now. You're welcome.
All right. So, for those of you who are probably new to like jumping into understanding spirituality or really just going on the journey of self discovery, what generational curses are pretty much limitations that you inherited. So the way of how you perceive money, relationships, a job, the world, most of the time, the way we perceive life is through the projections and lenses of our parents and our family members. So, breaking generational curses is about breaking limitations that no longer serve you, that were projected onto you from your parents and from your family. So, just wanted to let you guys know that since some people don't know what that is. Now, Jessica, do you want to take it away with explaining to people your experiences of what generational curses you had and how you were able to overcome them?
Okay. I think, well, first I want to say, I feel like we all have different meanings of what generational curses mean to us or what they look like. I think I'm going to sneeze.
Get it,
That's
girl.
me.
Let it out.
Thank you. No, because I mentioned it, I didn't. Um, with that being said, let's move on. I think that for me, I'm going to talk about two that were really big for me. I have a lot of them, let's be honest. We all do. Excuse me. There it
There you
is.
go. Excuse you, boo.
My sneeze wanted to be on screen. You're welcome.
Bless you.
Thank you. So yeah, I think I'm going to talk about two, just, due of time, but also because these two, I feel like for me are really big, being in a Hispanic household, being Latina, being a female, and also being one of the oldest ones on both sides. That's like, I feel like I feel the most pressure, but that's a whole other
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
But for me, the first one we're going to talk about is that mindset of I've always been made to feel like if I wasn't making a lot of money, not decent, but a lot of money, that I was a failure or that wasn't okay or that I should be striving for more always. And I feel like I always grew up being like, I need to do the most. I need to be a billionaire, millionaire, because that's how I'll be
Mm.
accepted in this life. And I feel like I can see it. I can see it in uncles and aunts, and I can see it in grandparents. I feel like that's just like a vibe. I feel like it's a Latin culture type of thing. Like
Yeah, because I
we
think the
come
same way.
we
Yeah,
come
most
from
definitely.
our countries are not, they're not wealthy, and I feel like everyone wants to strive for more, which is okay. I'm not saying it's not,
Yeah,
because
there's
that's
nothing wrong with it.
healthy, but I think that the way that they grew up and then tried to instill that in us was not healthy, because
Yeah.
money fixes problems, but it does not fix happiness. And
Mm,
I can't be happy because I have a lot of money, if that makes sense.
it
Um,
does.
so with that, I've really have just tried to change the mindset of like wealth is not happiness. And I find myself, I write it a lot on notebooks. I know that's corny, but I literally write wealth equals happiness, and then I do a whole like X on the
Hey,
happiness.
can I share
Just a
something with
reminder.
you?
Mm-hmm.
There was this book I read, my very first book I've ever read, and that was Happy Pocket Full of Money. And the word rich, he used it instead of people use rich as the word for money, but he
Mm-hmm.
said rich, RICH, realizing I create happiness. So,
Oh, that shit is
right?
I need to read that.
I wanted to share that with you. It's a beautiful book. It teaches you how to look at money not from the physical tangible way, but on how like through opportunities, through materialism. So it gives you a whole different perspective on what wealth is. So yeah, I think that would be a good book for you.
Yo, I'm gonna look into that. Thank you.
You're
So yeah,
welcome.
so that's one. And like you said, you see how you can resonate. I feel like that's just a Latin thing. Another one, now I don't know if this is a Latin thing. I don't know if it's because I'm a female. I don't there's a lot of
Well,
shit
it's your
there.
own experience. Remember, hon, everyone has their own experience, you know?
Yeah, but I just can't pinpoint what I'm saying. Is like I feel like a lot of us go through this, but I don't know where it
Mm,
comes from. Now, my
gotcha.
second one, I'm sorry, my nose.
You're
I don't
accepted, boo. Stop
exactly. No,
apologizing.
no, no. It's just like, we want to be proper podcasters. Like, listen to
I
me. That's it.
understand.
Shut up.
I understand.
Uh, but I would say speaking your truth. I feel like
Mm,
for me, my whole life, I've been one to speak my truth. But it's funny that I say that because sometimes I don't. And that annoys me as well. But we can talk about now.
mm.
I am not scared to say how I feel, whether it's good or bad, whether it's my mother, the Pope. I don't care who it is. Like
The Pope.
will say
I
how I
love
feel. If
it.
I'm not okay with it, if a boundary of mine is not being met or it's being, pushed, or if it's not okay, like I will just say it. And I feel like that's something that I know a lot of us struggle with, because like I've been told before that I'm going to make somebody kill themselves because of me telling them their truth. As little
Sometimes.
as like, you're annoying, can you stop? Like I'm trying to sleep. I don't know how that correlates, but I just feel like, and then that makes me think like, yo, how back does that go? Like,
Mm,
I know I'm Latina, so I know my people have to go back, slavery, all that
mm-hmm.
fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's not fun. Don't take it seriously. And it's just like, oh, that mindset of like, respect your master. Don't ever exclude yourself to be something that you're not. Don't push over the limits. Stay within your limits. And I feel like over the time now that has just become like, you can't even say that's disrespectful. Don't do that. I don't want you to
Mm,
hug me. I don't feel comfortable, without it being like, oh, it's the end of the world. That's your uncle. You need to hug him. Oh my God. You told him to
yeah.
be quiet because he's unknown. Like, Mitch,
Yeah. I know that feeling.
that's something that I'm still working on. And it's not necessarily that I'm working on vocalizing myself, because I will tell you about yourself.
She
Just
has
like I
no
tell
hesitation.
myself about myself, I'm great at that. It's the like feeling guilty about doing something that I'm
Yeah.
allowed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like at this point, you just kind of have to realize that the way we grow up is different than the way we were raised. No, the way we grew up is different than the way the people that raised us were raised, and so on and backwards. And
Mm-hmm.
it was just got worse and worse and worse. So at the end of the
That
day,
pattern continues, but it just
yeah,
escalates the more it
exactly.
passes down generations. Yeah.
So we're just kind of like the wishy-washy version of it. And we could just, I'm just trying to cut that cord because it's not cute. It's not cute. So I'm still working on that one. But like I said, it's more of like the after effect of the emotions of what others tell me. But
Hmm.
we here. Those are my two top. Trust me, I can go on for days. It's really funny to pinpoint because I feel like a lot of people can resonate.
Yeah.
I also want to point out that we are so Latina, even though she's gringa. But look at the necklaces.
Right? Both wearing gold and wearing black. I fucking love it.
Tell me you're Latina without telling me you're Latina. Thank you.
And excuse me, I'm just vanilla in the winter, but I'm caramel in the summer. Excuse
Oh
me.
yeah, that's not what's coming out that mouth.
Wait, what you mean?
What you mean? Talking Spanish to
What
me
I
right now.
what, how dare you
Ex-
do me like
Executor. Shots fired.
Hey,
Ain't
at least I got some nice skin when I tan.
ain't
Squeeze me.
nobody's talking about your skin tone, honey.
I know. That's my only excuse. Ah.
I like that one. I like that one. But that's on my
Ma-
end. How about you?
uh, all right. Well, thank you for sharing that because I resonated with that completely, especially when it comes to money and just speaking up for yourself. I think it's really like connected more to women because we were really taught to suppress like how we feel, and we should always allow the masculine to take the lead or always like
Fuck
speak.
that.
So yeah, yeah, I agree with that shit. But I say for my generational curses, I've always been such an outcast towards my family because I would always do the opposite of everything. So I'm that type of person. I'm willing to take risk and I have the courage to go after things that even though bring me such fear and worry. So like for example, my family is like we love factory jobs. Like my mom had a factory job, my aunt had a factory job, my cousin, all that. So we're really like good in the industrial industry. And so we strive hard to make our money by doing hard labor. And I remember like when I used to work jobs and never ever felt right to me. And I know I still have bills to pay, but I was a huge believer that whatever my dreams are, I believe my passions deserve to bring me money in abundance. And so I would never forget, I would quit jobs left and right. And I would never stay at a job longer than a year. And so, but in the process of doing that, it gave me the ability to build courage and go after my desires, being on YouTube, having my own business, going for acting, you know, like doing the stuff that I love, even though like I knew I had some responsibilities I had to take care of, but I always knew that something was taking care of me if I listened to my intuition. And so now what was it last year, no 2 years ago, I would say I officially stopped working for someone, and my family doesn't understand that. They're like, how can you work for yourself? Where are you getting the money? How are you doing it all? Like you're a hustler rather than actually being a hustler in the system. I'm a hustler on my own. So my family never understood that. And even I'm like an extremist. I would literally quit a job, and I did that. I quit my job and I traveled around the world for almost like 3 years driving by myself. And my dad will always tell me like, you done shit I've never done. And it makes me jealous, but you're freaking amazing for doing that. And even my
Deadass.
family's like, yo, how do you do these things without being scared? It's like, it's not that I'm not scared. It's just, I don't want the fear to paralyze me knowing this is my life and I want to experience what my heart is driven to do. So that's one thing I would say, just like overcoming that worry and that immense fear of thinking I'm not worthy to make my dreams happen. So that's one generational curse I had to break. Now, the next one, this is really big when it comes to my experience, and I know a lot of people could probably relate to this. So when it comes to relationships, I realized with my family, mainly on my mother's side, is that we become so codependent on people, either people taking care of us, paying for everything to the point we settle and we neglect our dreams and our desires. And I believe the biggest generational curse curse I broke was not chasing after the past anymore, not allowing past people to come back into my life, not allowing that to hold me back and thinking I'm not worthy of new love or real love, and also learning how not to neglect myself and running away from myself, because I realized women in my family, they'll get into relationships, become codependent on it because they run away from facing their shit, their responsibilities, and their desires. So I believe I definitely broke that generational curse of not being codependent on others and not settling and really prioritizing my existence, becoming the main character of my story rather than being a fan in someone else's story.
Ooh, you heard that? Main character in my story rather than being a fan in someone else's story. Holy shit, get this girl. I don't know, a book, because that was the gem right there. That was a golden nugget.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I have I have a question.
Yeah.
So you see how you say that codependency? I feel like codependency for me has always irked me to my core.
Mm,
And so I've
yeah.
never wanted to seem like I was dependent on anybody. Like it just irritates the shit out of me. And so I've always made it a thing to be really independent, to the point now where like me and my partner fight about who's going to pay the bill or who's going to do that. I'm
Mm,
learning, trust me. I'm not where I used to be, but now
yeah.
I'm trying to think like, am I running away from how uncomfortable that is, or am I just kicking it in the ass and just be like, fuck this, I'm not doing it?
Well, I've noticed there is a difference between being independent and hyper independent. Hyper independent is where you really don't, you feel such immense guilt for someone, for someone wanting to give to you that you think you don't deserve to receive.
I feel like that's
So
me. Oh God.
yeah, so it's like there's nothing wrong with, like, Bay pays the bill this time, and then you pay the bill next time. And then
You see,
maybe
I'm
there's some
okay with
times where
that.
you guys split. You guys split,
Hmm.
you get what I'm saying? So um I think it's mostly that you feel guilt for thinking you're not worthy of receiving, and you don't want someone to spoil you when you fucking deserve to be spoiled.
She shots fired. You heard that, bass? For me.
There we go. I got your back, bitch. Calling me vanilla. I
I'm not
know.
taking it back. I'm not taking it back.
I know. It's okay. I accept it.
She's
I
still
accept
trying
my
to come at
vanillaness.
me for this. You see this, guys? Wow.
But as we're sharing all of this with you guys, it's very important to understand that generational curses will help you break out of limitations that don't serve you, because the way to break generational curses is by first recognizing the things that you want and feeling the resistance towards it. Because when we
Hmm.
have resistance towards what we want, that's a limiting belief. The majority of the
Yeah.
time, those limiting beliefs are inherited from our parents and from our family and what we absorbed as a child. So, for example, we were just talking about this before we started this episode. Say you want to make like $30,000 monthly, and that's a desire, but it feels so uncomfortable to believe that that is true for you. That is where you have to look at the resistance, because that is a generational curse. You inherited your belief. So if you think you're not worthy of that amount of money, why is that? Is it because your parents never had that? Is it because your parents believe that money is too hard to receive and make? And if it, that's where you got to identify, is it your belief or is it a belief that you picked up? And are when you are aware of where the root cause of that belief came from, then ask yourself, do you want to continue believing in it, or do you want to believe in something new? And that is where you have to co-parent, like reparent yourself. And that is where you have to really become the creator of your reality and take ownership of who you are and your power, and believing in what you want to believe in, regardless of what people around you has believed in. And that's how you break a generational curse. Is like you recognize the curse itself, and then you break it by creating a new belief, and then you start living in that truth every single day in a repetition. So, but
You know what that brought to my mind right now?
what?
When you're a parent, you want the best for your child and you always want your child to be better than you were and better raised than you were, have a better life than you were. And I think
Mm-hmm.
as you were speaking about that, I feel like a lot of us feel like we're supposed to be what our parents want us to be, which
Yeah.
is quite the fucking opposite of what or who we want to be. And I feel like that's a
Mm-hmm.
big generational curse that I didn't even think about, but like that
Yeah.
I even have that a little bit of that where it's like, oh
Mm-hmm.
shit, I'm a failure because everyone wants me to do this and said this and expects me to be in this place at this age and I'm not. And then you begin to guilt trip yourself. But it's like, nah,
Yeah.
we grow up, we're raised, their job is to keep us alive, keep us
That's very
healthy,
true.
guide us down the path. But then there comes a point where those training wheels, fuck it, the wheels on the fucking bike aren't even on. You gotta fucking hold on to the little handles and you just gotta
Yeah.
walk and hold and balance yourself and figure it out.
I like that
Some
depiction.
someone needed to hear that, I feel
Hear
like.
that. Someone needed to hear that. I loved that. My ear was ringing. I was like, confirmation right there. I loved that.
Period.
I love that you brought that up because it's so true. Like I'll share one of you with you guys. So I am lesbian, and my mom doesn't really
You're
respect
heard,
that.
holler.
And I remember like all throughout my life, I thought it was wrong of me feeling that way. And I would actually interact with guys and have sex with men. And even though it felt like it's so uncomfortable to me, but it was a belief that in order to receive my mother's love, in order to be loved or actually get the love that I want, I have to do it with the man. And,
Ugh,
I remember like one time I did get pregnant, I got an abortion, and my mom was upset. She's like, you didn't have to get it. We would have taken care of it. And I'm looking at her, you barely knew how to take care of me. So you wanted me to give up my life to give you what you wanted? And now my family is like, my dad asks me, when are you having kids? When are you going to get a lover and all that? And I'm like, I'm good being single. I'm good enjoying my life. I'm traveling. I'm taking care of me. I'm working with ambitious people, starting my own businesses. So I don't want to be like everyone in my family, mundane, settle down in a relationship so young and having kids. Like, I'm not saying I don't want those things. I'm just saying I'm going to do it when it's right for me. And that's
period.
one generational curse I had to break, was realizing my sexuality is okay and taking my time with building that life that everyone is accustomed to in society is going to be right when I feel like it's right for me.
Whew, period. You are loved, you are accepted, you are
Thank you,
wanted,
Boo.
and you are your own fucking boss. You heard?
Thank you, Boo. I appreciate you.
Of
So,
course.
is there anything else you wanted to share?
I don't know. I think we spat out too much good
That was
information
some
today.
good. It was smooth. I loved
It
it.
was smooth. I feel like we touched on some good topics. I hope that it stirred somebody into thinking like,
Yeah.
I need to do better. At the end of the day,
Mhm.
all we're striving for is to be our best self for that day,
Yeah.
for life, for that year, whatever it is that you want, pushing yourself towards that goal, whether it's the
Mhm.
smallest thing like writing it down. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like you always have to strive to be the best you because at the end of the day, that's all you can do. Stop pleasing anybody else. Stop listening to anybody else. Well, if you're little, you can listen, but we could always
Yeah.
listen. But the whole point is at the end of the day, you're grown enough, smart enough to know what you want, and if it's not what somebody else is telling you, be smart enough to be, but you don't have to be rude about it. Just say thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your opinion. I will take it into consideration. As soon as you leave, throw that shit out the door and keep it pushing.
That's facts. That's
Because that's what
facts.
I do.
I do the same shit.
You
Also
don't have to be
understand, you
rude.
guys. Yeah, you don't have to be rude, you guys. It takes time to mature on a mental, emotional, spiritual level to the point that you can choose what's right for you and not care about anyone else's opinions. But it's very important to understand that, when you break generational curses, you got to take the responsibility that it was inherited to you But you also got to take the responsibility that if you want something different, take accountability for your actions and what you already
Mm-hmm.
created in order for
Exactly.
you to change that pattern that no longer serves you. Because when you are a person who realizes a generational curse, that means you were the one to break it for the next generation to come. So that means you are the breaker of the curses that were in your bloodline back with your ancestors, your grandparents' parents, and your mom's parents. Like, you get what I'm saying. So, you know, you have to take responsibility for what you believed in and how that belief created your reality now. And while you take responsibility for that, you end up gaining the power to be able to shift it, because you can't be a
Mm-hmm.
victim towards your circumstances and then want abundance and more at the same time. And I'm going to say, like I be saying in my YouTube videos, it's not your fault that you were born poor or born in a broken home or born
Exactly.
without receiving love, but it will be your fault if you do die poor. If you don't know how to receive love, it will be your fault if you don't change your life and break that pattern. You
Ooh.
are aware of it because you're meant to break it and to create a new one that's going to serve you, to create the life that you want, that is opposite of what you grew up with and what your parents already know. So that's all I wanted to share.
Sheesh. You know what's a good movie that I feel like shows a little bit of generational curses broken? And this may
What's
be
that?
corny, but listen, hear me out. Watch Hocus Pocus 1 and then watch Hocus Pocus 2. Boom.
You're not wrong. You're
Boom.
because if you think about it, they were all evil and like absorbing little children and stuff like that, and
Selfish.
they they allowed that depiction of what people thought that they were bad to make it true about themselves. And then in the second one, they realized, I love my sisters. I love my family. I don't want to hurt kids. I don't want to do all this. So that was a big generational curse break, bro. Like, yo, that's a good one. Go watch Hocus Pocus, man. Like, you gotta love Disney movies. As much as, Disney got their dark aspects, their movies really do help with
Yeah,
us
for real though.
understanding our emotions and shit. It's just crazy. So, but that was a good share. Thank you for that. I loved it.
Yo.
Loved it. Yeah. Gosh.
Wow. I
Wow, she was
think this
quiet
is
the
a
whole
cue.
time.
I think this is a
Yeah.
cue. I think it's time for us to go because the little doggy said so. No, I'm just kidding.
I
No,
am
but
hungry. I'm about to cook, honestly. I'm
you're right,
starving.
because at the end of the day, we got lives, but we're making it happen and we're here for y'all. So y'all
Facts.
be here for us, show some support.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Um, like we
Appreciate
always
you
say,
guys.
follow us on Instagram at Mystifying Reality Podcast, and you can email us at mystifyingrealitypodcast dot what am I saying, at gmail dot
Gmail.com.
com. Yeah, and we'll put all our descriptions down below. Follow us on Spotify if you haven't. Follow Brittany on YouTube. It's a must. That's not if you haven't. It's do it. Get her to 1K. We're out here. We need to get
Thank you.
homegirl monetized. You feel me? Um,
Appreciate you.
and we have more gems to come. So stay tuned. This is just the beginning, but thank you for sticking with us. We have, I think, 32 followers on Instagram now. Period.
I go.
We're just badasses, okay? And we love you guys.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for
Oh,
listening. And I hope this served you very, very well. So then keep doing the work and just know you are loved. And we're very proud of you for doing the work, because you have no idea how many changes you're making in order to help see that you deserve more. And you're going to create a better world because of that. So thank you. And love you
that's a
guys.
fact. Love you, babies. Bye.
Deuces. Bye.